Today I'm talking about the dichotomy between proof and flavor, and I want to let you know, no matter how controversial this may sound, you can't have it all. You've got to think about proof and flavor as a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, you have full flavor. On the other end of the spectrum, you have really high proof neutral spirits, like 190 proof. And you can get anywhere on that spectrum you want to get, but it's always a sacrifice. The closer you move towards flavor, the more you're going to sacrifice proof, and vice versa. The higher proof you are aiming for, the more flavor you're going to sacrifice. It's just a choice. There's no right or wrong. It just makes sense for you to decide, what is it am I trying to make? Am I trying to make a neutral spirit like a vodka or something like that to make mixed drinks with, and I want high proof, and then I can temper that down with distilled water? That's fine, because you're not really after flavor. And so it's okay to really far end of the spectrum to get that. On the other hand, you may be trying to get a bourbon with some very specific kind of flavor notes that you're chasing. In that case, you don't want to get high proof, because as you're trying to get that high proof, you're sacrificing all these flavor notes that you may be chasing. So another thing to think about too on that spectrum is, the closer you are to the center of that spectrum, the more methods and techniques there are available to you to get to the center of that spectrum, where you have some proof and you have some flavor. There's more choices. The further you get to the end of that spectrum, the fewer choices you have in how you're going to be able to get there. So, you know, at the extreme side of the neutral spirit, the 190 proof, there's only a couple of ways for the home distiller to do that. And then if you want to get all the way to the flavor side, there's only a couple of different ways for you to do that. For the beginners, a lot of times that they get into it thinking, I need to make the highest proof I can make. I need to make my ferment the highest ABV I can get it. And usually in their mind, it has something to do with, say, efficiency. Like, if I'm going to be running my still anyway, I might as well be making as much as I can make while I do it. And that may or may not be true depending on what you're after. But you need to decide what it is you're trying to create first, and then develop your recipe, or choose a recipe that fits what it is you're trying to develop. Because quite honestly, the best flavors, this is an opinion, the best flavors come from the medium to low ABV mashes, and a single run still, with a pot still, preferably even with as little reflux as you can get, and no tempering with water. So that's on the flavor side, right? And if you're trying to get anywhere in the middle, you have lots of choices, and we can talk about those choices. I can make other videos if you're interested in, you know, where you want to fall on that spectrum, and the number of ways to get there. And I've got all kinds of videos that you might like. In fact, check this one out, because YouTube thinks you might like it. Check this one out if you're a beginner. This is a playlist. This is where you want to start. I'll talk to y'all later.